to think about pride. I do. Things get better with time. So undying is a haiku. These thoughts never can die. These tears never gonna dry when I lose you. Some hearts double inside.
What's
Ooh,
going on, everybody?
good.
We
I
are.
realized something we're going to have to fix a little bit in post-production, Nick, and that's probably the title of this stream because it's obvious preview. We're just back to our regular
Obviously,
Monday Evening Football Daily show.
Oh, yeah.
And so that being said, we're happy to be back today. It's fun and exciting. What's Tuesday? We're
Tuesday.
not even halfway through the week. We haven't reached that luxurious hump day that we enjoy so much.
We do.
But we're getting close. And the exciting thing is we got some really great news stories today that I'm actually very excited about. Some that hit, closer to home than others. And I think are just important things to talk about, which is great.
Sure.
So, but let's get right into it, Nick, if you dare. But what's going on behind you?
Well,
And is this guy getting traded to the Broncos like some people are, preposterously proclaiming?
what's going on behind me is I've got the green lights still. And if you're new to the show,
Okay.
I don't enjoy these green lights. I don't enjoy the way they look, and I also don't enjoy what they represent because I have made the decision that I will keep these lights green until we find out where Aaron Rodgers is going to be playing football next season. I would love these lights to be blue. They look great blue. When I do my podcast, they're purple. They look great when they're purple. When they're green,
They do.
they don't look very good. And you know what? They don't make me feel good because Aaron Rodgers, that means he's not back in Green Bay yet. However, there is a guy who I don't know if he's ever been right about anything, and yet he thinks that he wants to go out on whatever network he works for and say that Aaron Rodgers is still possibly going to be traded to the Broncos at some point. That's still on the table. Of course, we're talking about Mark Schlereth. Now, once again, Mark Schlereth is completely free to have his own opinion, as I do, on the Aaron Rodgers situation. However, I think that Mark Schlereth, we should definitely take with a grain of salt what he is saying, because I guarantee you, if I take 3 minutes to look up all of the bad takes he's had over the years, they will pile in like you wouldn't believe. When can you remember that guy being right about something in his life as a commentator? I certainly can't. I don't know why the hell he's talking about the Packers trading Aaron Rodgers to the Broncos, because that seems ridiculous. If it happens, fine, I'll eat my words. But if it doesn't happen, then I am going to continue to talk about how wrong Mark Schlereth is for the rest of my life. Because in reality, why would Aaron Rodgers ever go to the same division that is currently home to both Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert? In what world would he ever decide to do that? In what universe would Aaron Rodgers make a conscious decision and the Packers to send him over there to the Broncos? Now, you might be saying well, the Packers would just send him there anyway. It seems very unlikely. It seems very unlikely that the two of them are not coordinating the things that are going on, as if they would just ship him off there and without him knowing. It makes absolutely no sense. If he got traded to the Broncos, why would he play for them? It makes absolutely no sense that he would go there. I think that the Broncos are trying to maybe remain relevant. This is what we talked about the other day. Do they go to Mark Schlereth trying to get him to say a little something to keep them relevant in the media? Because he is a guy that was a great player for them, don't get me wrong. But in
Yeah.
reality, I don't see any world where that would make any sense. The Broncos are all talk. They're not going to be good this year. Everyone knows that. With Aaron Rodgers, they're not going to be good this year. They play in the same division as the Raiders, the Chargers, and the Chiefs. That is not by any means a weak division. And
For
to
sure.
be honest, I don't have a lot of faith in where the Broncos stand right now, and so I don't really see why Aaron Rodgers would want to go play for them. But, if you want to trust Mark Schlereth's takes, that is, I guess, your own choice. But, man,
Yeah. All right, now tag me in.
go for it.
Boom.
Go for
Let's
it.
go. Okay. And the other thing, Mark, this is what you're close. I think he runs his own podcast around the Broncos, or he has his own show, whatever.
Right.
But like this is an older man that has essentially caught in the case of clickbaits.
Ah, yep.
And he's discovered what clickbait is. He realized it helps his organic views and stuff. And he's like, oh, well, I'm just gonna keep pushing this narrative because he said, well, yeah, that deal is definitely still on the table. I mean, I guess technically it's on the table, but any deal is technically on the table,
Yes, yes.
But the Packers have said they're not trading him. And Aaron Rodgers hasn't said much except what he said on Kenny Mayne about it's a philosophy thing and stuff like that. And really, that's kind of where it's been left. You know,
Absolutely.
there really hasn't been much else that has gone on that would allude to, oh yeah, the Broncos are gonna make a trade for Aaron Rodgers. So it's just like it's just an odd take. He's probably gonna end up eating his words. We probably won't. Hopefully, you know what? Um, yeah, I just think he just got caught up in the clickbait and it was like probably like this is the first time he discovered what clickbait
For
was,
sure.
and he was like, oh, this is good.
It is.
This is like Gordo. It's good. It'll help
It's,
me perform.
yes.
So I think that's maybe a little something what's happening here with Mark. But let's flip the script, Nick. Let's get
All right.
into something that is a lot more positive and
Yes.
upbringing and not so like down, like this Mark Schlereth guy just tried to get us
Oh,
this last
what a
5-7 minutes,
what a joker.
But I want to talk about the Raiders, Carl Nassib,
Yeah, man.
becoming the first actively NFL player who's openly gay, which
Yeah.
is awesome.
That's awesome.
Congrats.
Yeah,
Not that
congrats.
it should be celebrated
Yes,
because it's a milestone in the
for
NFL. Now
sure.
we know there are gay players who play in the NFL and things like that. And I think this helps make a step where these videos of like, hey, I am gay, like you're not going to need them hopefully sooner rather than later because it's just going to be, there's a mix of guys and things like that.
For sure.
Um, but also he's taking a pledge to donate $100,000 to the Trevor Project, which I looked up because I wasn't familiar with it.
Hmm.
And it's a nonprofit that is focused on suicide prevention efforts among the LGBTQ community,
Oh, yeah.
which is awesome.
That's awesome.
So I think he's doing two great things for the LGBT community, with donating to the Trevor Project and also, representing himself. And so kids can look up and be like, I can be an NFL player, or, I can come out as well because he's doing it on a big platform. And then I think we also need to look back, though. I believe it was Michael Sam who, when he entered the draft, he was openly gay,
Right.
you know. And so just to see the progress, and obviously there's much more progress to be made, but just to see the progress from that to now, it does seem like the NFL is being more of a inclusive community in this aspect, which is very nice to see.
No doubt. I mean, the fact that he felt comfortable coming out and they did it, man. What a brave guy. Like that's really cool to see. Like that's pretty inspiring. Like really like a brave dude to come out and be like the first like active. I'm in the NFL. I'm out here. Like I'm making plays. I'm not just
Yeah,
some
yeah,
some dude that's about to get cut or something. Like I'm really out here and I'm gonna come out and
yeah,
like, I think that's really cool, man. Like it's awesome to see. Like it's just one of those things, right? It's like it's sad that it took this long, but man, now that it's here, that
yeah,
is pretty awesome. Like that is
for
really
sure.
really cool.
And I will say this with he was on Hard Knocks when he played for, I think it was his rookie year, and he got drafted by the Cleveland
Oh
Browns,
yeah.
I believe. Yeah, because he was with Miles Garrett,
Uh.
and he had the funniest fucking take on that shit because he was teaching the guys about pretty much financials and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah.
He's not a financial advisor. He said it in the video, so let's be clear.
Uh.
But he was just teaching the guys about how to, compound their money, over 7 years to get a good, return on
Uh.
investment. And he was like so hyped. He's like, guys, he's like, there's thousands of financial advisors. He's like, you guys need to learn this stuff. Like he was like so passionate about
Yeah.
this on that Hard Knocks. And I remember that. And then I saw that video recirculate around. I'm like, that's where I know him
Yeah,
from.
okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
But
so yeah, I mean he's a notable player, which is cool. Like it's
for
like you
sure.
said, it's just hopefully it inspires people. Like hopefully like some guys feel more comfortable, in the NFL because at the end of
Yeah.
the day, like I mean, you got to think like his teammates, like they're gonna be like, yeah, dude, you're just like, come on,
Yeah.
man, we don't care, it's all good. Like, come on, like
Yeah.
like, and so it's just really cool to
For
see.
sure.
It's cool to see like, um, yeah, just like the evolution of the league because
Yeah.
wasn't always a comfortable place, I think, for people of
Yeah.
the LGBTQ community. And I think at the
ab-
end of the day,
Yeah. Absolutely.
hopefully this has a ripple effect down to, like you said, some of those younger levels,
Yeah.
and all that. But yeah, that's awesome, man. And him using his platform now, he's going to have more of a platform, right? I mean, inevitably. And
Yeah.
I think it's cool to see his first steps with that platform being to like make the donation that he made and put a spotlight on the Trevor Project and things like that. So I think he's a guy to keep an eye on, as we move forward. And man, I hope he has a hell of a year. I might buy myself a Carl
Yep.
Nassib jersey at this point. I hope he,
Yeah. We're gonna be rooting for this
hell
dude
yeah,
all
man.
year
I hope
long.
this guy goes off.
I'm gonna be like, yeah, 10 sacks a game. I'm just hitting the
Let's
over on.
go. Let's go. Oh man, I love it. The more, and it's cool because the more success that he has on the field, the more attention they'll draw to things like the Trevor
Yeah.
Project and stuff like that. So I think if you wanna put a spotlight on a guy, you want to see some changes be made in the world, like let's help Carl get a spotlight on him, and I think that is awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. It is truly wonderful. And speaking of things that are truly wonderful, probably to some, not to many, but Eli Manning is getting his jersey retired.
Oh man, that is awesome. He is. He is. They're gonna do it.
Is it
They're
awesome?
gonna do it week. What is it? Week 4 or something like that against the Falcons. Week 3, something along those lines. I see. I think it's awesome because I like Eli. Now, where I do think I he's an
It's
interesting
it's
quarterback.
tough. I think if you're I don't even I think if I would be interested to hear what Giants fans take would be on Eli Manning getting his jersey retired because I feel like you would probably have like 65% of guy or fan base like supporting that. Like, yeah, he did win us, 2 Super
Yep.
Bowls,
Yep.
and which that alone probably gets your jersey. Being honest with you,
Yeah. No doubt. No doubt. That definitely,
yeah,
and that's the thing. Like, if he did a lot for him, 2 Super Bowls, and at the end of the day, he did a lot for a lot of other fans in the NFL because he took out Brady and prevented the undefeated
yeah, he did.
season. And so, I think in the hearts and minds of a lot of the league, Eli Manning's kind of awesome. It's weird. It's got to be weird to be him because your brother is Peyton Manning, and you come into the NFL with all these expectations, and you get out there and you're like, hey, like let's get after it. Let's see what I can do in this
Yeah,
league. 2 Super Bowls, good enough for me.
yeah, for sure. And I'm gonna be honest, Nick. I don't know if that's coming from your end or my end. It's like we got some cheering going on in the background. I'm okay with it, but I was so confused. I was trying to figure it out, but I think it was a little bit on my end, to be honest
No,
with
I
you.
think it
Yeah.
could have been both.
It's the support dogs that we keep in the back, so for after we're done filming these, we get, the support and love from those animals. We appreciate it. It's great. But it does sometimes make, you know, for a little extra noise.
No
And
doubt.
maybe it's because I'm wearing these big old headphones too. Maybe you guys don't even hear about it. But sorry, Eli, I totally just got distracted there while Nick was breaking down your greatness over the years. But
What do you think the fans are not happy about it? What would their take be?
I think I don't know that he should have been better,
His
but like I get, I
I
mean,
think he was like 500 in the regular season basically in his career. That's the thing that I always hear is the knock on him.
yeah, that's probably I don't know to be honest with you. I mean, the fact that he's won 2 Super Bowls alone, that in itself is more than enough to get your jersey retired. But very interesting.
No doubt.
You know, but that gives these new quarterbacks something to look forward to, especially if you're in that Giants organization, like a guy like who do they have? Um,
Oh, Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones, yeah. And and then now you're starting to see around the league that some other QB situations are starting to potentially settle, or when the transition's made. I think you're seeing that with the Patriots and Mac Jones
Yes,
and
yes.
Cam Newton. And so I think you see that going on there where it's very clear that Mac Jones is going to be the guy once Cam Newton is done, or moves on from the Patriots because I believe he just re-signed Cam Newton.
Yeah, I believe so. 1 year.
Yeah. So he'll be there 1 year, and I think the Patriots after this year, or even during the year, are transition away from Cam Newton. So that'll be something interesting to see. And then also you have the Bears with Justin Fields. You know, they got Andy Dalton, who's the guy now, like they've come out and said. And then you got the Packers with, you know, if you're hearing the reports that are coming out of the Packers camp and Jordan Love looking very good in training camp and probably the majority of it. And then you see, you know, you have Aaron Rodgers still there. And then once he moves on, you got that natural transition. So I think you are seeing those quarterbacks, you know, really find their those teams, I'm sorry, those teams really find their next guy in the quarterback area.
All right, so let's play a game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you this, and I'm gonna go make sure that no one's breaking into my studio here.
Yeah, do that.
Who starts game 1, and then who starts game 17? Packers, Bears, Patriots.
Okay. Oof. All right. So this is how I'm going to play that. Aaron Rodgers is going to start week 1 and week 17. Easy enough. The Bears, however, Andy Dalton's going to start week 1. Justin Fields is going to end week 17. And the Patriots, I think Cam Newton will start week 1, and he'll probably end the year 2. But I think there's a couple games in there that Mac Jones does get in, and he probably lights it up for him in those games. But I feel like Cam Newton will still be the guy at the very end. So Nick, I came in with you do yours, and then I'll do
Okay.
mine, or I'll let you know what mine were.
Okay, so I think, all right, Patriots. I think season will start with Cam Newton. I think that one's tough. I think reasonably though, I'm actually going to say they end on Mac Jones. Cam Newton, I think, is very injury prone. I could see him getting hurt, and I think Mac Jones is going to be the type of guy that will be far enough along at that point where actually, you know what? I shouldn't say that because they still have Stidham too, which I think is an interesting like element of that. But I don't think it's Cam that ends the year for them. No, I'll stick with it.
What
I'll
I
say Mac Jones. And then, did you thought the same thing?
So no, I kind of. I said Cam Newton will probably start the season, and I
Yep.
think he will end the season too. But I think in the middle of that season, you will see a heavy dose of Mac Jones, something like.
Yeah, yep. I think that's the reality. I think with them that seems more likely.
Yeah.
If you had to bet on it, that seems more likely. I think if you look at the Bears, I think it will obviously be Justin Fields at the end of the year. I don't even think that's a discussion. I think they will start Andy Dalton like they've been saying. I don't think they'll start Fields. I think you get Andy and Fields.
I was the same page with you on that one.
And then Packers, I think it'll be Aaron Rodgers on both ends. I think they get that deal done, and I think it's Aaron Rodgers. So I think it's interesting. Yeah. I think I'll be honest with you, it is fascinating. So if we're being totally honest, if you look at a franchise like the Patriots and the Packers, I think it's really interesting because you can make an argument, right, that the Packers and Patriots play in the Super Bowl in '96 or whenever that was that Brett Favre wins it.
Yep.
And I believe that's Favre and Bledsoe at the time. I don't know for sure if Bledsoe was there, but let's say Favre and Bledsoe sort of existed in the same range. Then both of those franchises, historically great franchises that have won a bunch, both then moved on to then Rodgers and Brady, who are arguably the two greatest quarterbacks of all time. And now both of them are set up with first round picks to potentially be the future of those organizations. And I think it's very fascinating to watch those two organizations. They're winning organizations. They have been for a long time. They're up there in that echelon of the Steelers. They're up there in that world of like the Cowboys. These teams that have sort of always won, and they are these organizations are always talked about. They're always competitive. I think it's interesting that they all have young quarterbacks. Same thing with Justin Fields. Like the Bears are a notable organization. They haven't had so much winning, but they're notable.
I like that take about the Patriots and the Packers, because that is something to really think about. They both had their guys, have their younger guys again. something that is not worth copycatting in the NFL is um, getting arrested on suspicion of having a concealed. Probably don't want that to happen to you,
Not
but it did
ideal.
happen to the Kansas City Chiefs defensive end Frank Clark. Nick, I don't. I'm gonna be honest. I don't really know about this story, or maybe I do if it's the one I'm thinking of. Uh, but did he have like an Uzi?
Yes, he had
Okay,
an
that was
Uzi in his car, which if in my experience, I don't
yeah.
know. I don't
Let's hear
know.
your
I don't know if that's what you want to necessarily be
yeah.
doing. You know, I don't know. That the people that I've known that have at times maybe potentially thought about engaging in those type of activities and not always doing things that they should be doing. I guess is
Yeah.
the way that I would like to word that. So not an ideal situation. However, at the end of the day, I would be curious to hear the take of all the old get off my lawn people on this one because they sure do love to talk about how, in a lot of circumstances, there's no problem with that, no problem at
Yeah.
all. So, in fairness, maybe at the end of the day, this is just simple misunderstanding of Second Amendment rights. Maybe that is all this is, and the Frank Clark will be back with the Chiefs in no time. That's very possible because I think at the end of the day, I would like to see if Frank Clark did something wrong. I understand. We have laws and we have things like that. However, if Frank Clark's just a citizen, exercising his Second Amendment
Art,
rights,
his permits for his guns, all that good.
maybe we let
Yeah.
him, we keep it moving. So at the end of the day, not ideal though if you're the Kansas City Chiefs. It's not exactly the type of story that you want to be
Yeah.
hearing about. And at the end of the day, just
But
not
also
ideal.
not but also not the worst thing in the world.
Yes.
You
What's
know.
interesting is there was a time in the NFL where you used to hear about these stories all the time, like this time of year.
Oh,
And it's funny
we
because of COVID, I think that a lot of that stuff, like those instances have sort of disappeared for like the last year and a half. And they
yeah,
are going to start coming back. You're going to start to get a lot of these wild stories that come out
for
of
sure.
situations like along these lines. And so it's it's definitely a wild news story at the end of the day, if nothing else. But a lot of these
Yeah. Oh, I've been meaning to say, Nick. Before we wrap up here,
yes.
uh, the Fox Sports news stories this week have been phenomenal. Can we
Oh,
send that writer over there who's been writing them this
oh
week,
man.
like a
Yes.
fruit basket or something?
They've gotten better. They've definitely gotten better. Like that was where the Patriots Bears Packers thing came from,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they've
For
definitely
sure.
started to figure that out a little bit. I think maybe our criticisms got to them.
Our criticism, our constructive criticism helped him out.
I know.
That is why we're here. We're here to make everyone better,
That's all it is.
and try to be better ourselves.
You know.
It's at the end of the day, that's all you can
Hey,
really
look, at
do.
the end, I mean, really, think about it like this. The way we see it is, people on YouTube like us are going out here and trying to make some compelling content. Feels like if you're Fox Sports, you should be able to make the type of stories that we've been reading the last few days, not the garbage from a couple weeks ago. I feel like
Yeah.
you have plenty of talent and a budget over there to run some engaging NFL content.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, and if you're looking for someone else to write your articles for you, we got a guy.
Mm,
He writes great news stories.
let me know,
And
let me know.
but hey, I think that, you know, it's good. They're taking our criticism, they're becoming better, taking steps in the right direction. It's good to see. So, hey, that's probably a great way to end the show. You got anything else for the people at home, Nick?
No, I think we just keep on rocking, man. It's Tuesday. It's a good little Tuesday out there, man. We just all the way I feel about it is like, dude, if you're lucky enough to be having a computer or a phone that you can watch us on and you're just having a good time, first of all, we appreciate you. But second of all, like,
Yeah.
man, I mean, things are pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? We got supercomputers. You can watch a couple guys talk about the NFL on right in your pocket. Obviously, a lot going on in the world, but you know, maybe count your blessings, I guess, is my theme
Yeah.
today
It
for the audience.
yeah, or like stop and smell the roses type of
Ah,
thing.
beautiful. I like that. Yes.
Yeah.
Lovely sentiment.
So, all right. Well, with that, we bid you adieu.
See you guys tomorrow. Adios.